The Lodge, 2019. 6 months after their mother's suicide, Aiden and Mia go on a family trip with their father and his girlfriend to a remote lodge. At first, it looks like a chance for everyone to spend some time together, but being stuck in an isolated place starts to bring out some serious problems. Then strange things begin happening around the lodge. The kids start feeling that something isn't right, and as these events become harder to explain, the line between reality and something much darker starts to disappear. The Lodge is an okay horror movie and deserves a C tier. The isolated setting and psychological tension create an unsettling atmosphere, but the slow pace may not work for everyone. Still, if you enjoy mysterious and disturbing horror, it's worth a one-time watch. Goosebumps, 2015. Imagine discovering that the monsters from your favorite books are actually real. That's exactly what happens when R.L. Stine, the author of Goosebumps, discovers that the creatures from his books have escaped and are causing chaos in Delaware. Now Stine, his daughter Hannah, and her friend Zach have to work together to put everything back where it belongs. But there's one big problem. The monsters aren't planning on going quietly. Goosebumps is a good movie and deserves a B tier. It's fun, fast-paced, and filled with different monsters, making it a great choice if you want horror without going too dark. Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween, 2018. Two teenage friends discover a mysterious book and a ventriloquist dummy inside an abandoned house. They bring the dummy home, thinking they found something interesting. They couldn't have been more wrong. The dummy comes to life, and before long, the small town is filled with creatures and chaos. Now the friends have to figure out how to stop everything before Halloween turns into a nightmare. Goosebumps 2 is an okay movie and deserves a C tier. It has plenty of fun creatures and Halloween-style chaos, but it doesn't have the same impact as the first movie. The Skeleton Key, 2005. Caroline Ellis is a kind nurse who takes a job caring for an elderly man whose health is getting worse. She moves into a large old mansion hidden away in the Louisiana bayou. While taking care of the couple, Caroline becomes curious about the strange house and starts exploring places she probably shouldn't. Eventually, she discovers something that makes her question everything she thought she knew about the mansion and the people living inside it. And once Caroline starts looking for answers, she may have opened a door that was never meant to be opened. The Skeleton Key is a good horror movie and deserves a B tier. The old mansion, mysterious atmosphere, and supernatural elements create a strong sense of tension. It's the kind of horror movie that keeps making you wonder what is really going on. 122, 2019. After a terrible accident, a couple find themselves trapped inside what appears to be a hospital. But something about the place doesn't feel right. As they try to understand what happened and find a way out, their situation becomes more dangerous. What should have been a place where they could get help suddenly turns into a place where survival is their only concern. And the more they try to escape, the more confusing their surroundings become. 122 is an okay horror movie and deserves a C tier. The strange setting gives the movie an interesting mystery, while the survival element keeps things moving. It's not the strongest horror movie here, but it can be a decent one-time watch. Dabe for Curse of the Jinn, 2013. One night before her wedding, Kubra suddenly becomes possessed by a terrifying supernatural force. Her childhood friend Ebru travels back to their eerie hometown to find out what happened and help Kubra. But when Ebru begins investigating, he realizes that this isn't simply a case of possession. There is something much darker connected to Kubra's past, and the deeper Ebru goes, the more dangerous the truth becomes. Dabe 4, Curse of the Jinn is a good horror movie and deserves a B tier. It brings strong supernatural horror, a creepy atmosphere, and plenty of disturbing moments. If you're a fan of possession and supernatural horror, this is definitely worth checking out. Upgrade, 2018. Gray is a man who prefers old-fashioned technology and has little interest in modern machines. But his life completely changes after an attack leaves him paralyzed and takes away someone he loves. Then a billionaire offers him something unbelievable. A special chip implanted into his body that can restore his movement. At first it seems like Gray has been given a second chance. But the chip gives him abilities he never had before, and Gray soon decides to use them to hunt down the people responsible. And as he gets closer to the truth, he begins to realize that the technology inside him may have a mind of its own. Upgrade is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. It combines science fiction, action, horror, and revenge into a surprisingly entertaining experience. The concept is unique, the action is intense, and the story keeps giving you reasons to stay until the end. The Invisible Man, 2020. Cecilia finally escapes from an abusive relationship, hoping she can start a new life. Then she learns that her ex-boyfriend has died. At least that's what everyone believes. Soon, Cecilia begins experiencing strange events. Objects move when nobody is there. She feels like someone is watching her. But when she tries to explain what's happening, there's nothing anyone can see. Cecilia becomes convinced that her supposedly dead ex has found a way to become invisible. Now she has to prove the truth before everyone thinks she's losing her mind. The Invisible Man is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. The movie turns invisibility into something genuinely terrifying because Cecilia can see the danger coming, but she can't see where it is. And that makes almost every moment feel dangerous. Howl, 2015. A train leaves London and heads into the night, carrying a group of passengers who have no idea that their journey is about to become a nightmare. Everything changes when the train hits a deer and the driver has to get out to check the damage. But he isn't alone outside. A humanoid creature suddenly attacks him, leaving the passengers trapped inside the train with something hunting them from the darkness. Now they have to stay together and figure out how to survive. But with the train stuck and the creature still outside, how long can they really stay safe? Howl is an okay horror movie and deserves a C tier. The trapped on a train setting works well and the limited space creates some good tension. It's not a must-watch, but if you enjoy creature horror and survival stories, it's worth a one-time watch. Cold Skin, 2017. Friend, a meteorologist, travels to a remote island in the South Atlantic to work as a weather observer. But when he arrives, the island is far from what he expected. Instead of finding peace and isolation, he discovers that dangerous creatures live there. With nowhere to easily escape and the creatures becoming a constant threat, Friend soon realizes that surviving on the island is going to be much harder than he imagined. And the worst part? He's not the only human trapped there. Cold Skin is an okay horror movie and deserves a C tier. The remote island setting gives it a strong survival feel, while the mysterious creatures add an interesting horror element. It's not for everyone, but creature horror fans may find it worth watching once. Don't Breathe, 2016. 3 young criminals think they've found the perfect target. Their victim is Norman, a blind Gulf War veteran who lives alone in a quiet house. They believe breaking in and stealing his money will be easy. But they quickly discover that Norman isn't nearly as helpless as he appears. Suddenly, the people who entered the house to rob someone are trapped inside with a man who knows the house better than they do. And now, they have to find a way out without making a single mistake. Don't Breathe is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. The movie takes a simple home invasion idea and completely flips it around. The tight setting, constant tension, and cat and mouse action make it one of the strongest thrillers on this list. The Ruins, 2008. A carefree vacation in Mexico takes a dark turn when a group of friends agrees to follow another tourist to a remote archaeological site deep in the jungle. What begins as an exciting adventure quickly becomes something much more dangerous. The group finds themselves trapped at the ruins, far away from help. And as they struggle to find a way out, they discover that the place they're trapped in may be far more dangerous than they ever imagined. The Ruins is an okay horror movie and deserves a C tier. The isolated jungle setting creates a strong feeling of helplessness, and the survival element keeps the story interesting. It's a solid one-time watch if you enjoy unusual survival horror. Pandorum, 2009. 2 astronauts wake up inside what appears to be a completely dark spacecraft. They don't remember who they are. They don't remember their mission. And they have no idea how long they've been there. As they move through the damaged ship searching for answers, they realize something else is inside. They're not alone. But before they can understand what happened to the spacecraft, they have to figure out what is hunting them. Pandorum is a good movie and deserves a B tier. The dark spaceship setting creates a great atmosphere, while the mystery keeps you guessing. It's a strong choice for anyone who enjoys science fiction mixed with horror and survival. The Babysitter, 2017. Cole is just 12 years old, and he absolutely loves his babysitter. As far as he knows, she's fun, friendly, and probably the coolest babysitter a kid could ask for. But one night, Cole decides to stay awake and secretly watch what she does after he goes to bed. That's when he discovers something he was never supposed to see. His beloved babysitter is actually part of a murderous satanic cult. Now Cole has to forget about his crush and figure out how to survive the night before the group can use him for their own plans. The Babysitter is a good horror movie and deserves a B tier. It's a fun mix of horror, comedy, and teenage chaos. The story doesn't take itself too seriously, and the fast pace makes it an easy and entertaining watch. Mandy, 2018. Red Miller lives a quiet life with the woman he loves, Mandy Bloom. But their peaceful life is destroyed when a strange and dangerous hippie cult enters their world. The cult's leader becomes obsessed with Mandy, and soon Red's entire life is turned upside down. After Mandy is taken from him, Red is left with nothing but anger and a desire for revenge. And when he decides to go after the people responsible, he's not planning to simply confront them. Mandy is a good movie and deserves a B tier. It's a very unusual horror experience with a dark atmosphere, strange visuals, and brutal action. It's definitely not a movie for everyone, but if you enjoy violent and visually unique revenge stories, this one stands out. Dr. Sleep, 2019. Danny Torrance has spent years trying to escape the trauma of his past, but Danny still possesses a special ability known as the Shine. Then he meets a young girl named Abra who has the same mysterious gift, only hers may be even stronger. Unfortunately, Abra has caught the attention of the True Knot, a group that feeds on people with the Shine. Danny realizes that if he wants to protect Abra, he'll have to face the darkness he has spent years trying to leave behind. But this time, running away isn't an option. Dr. Sleep is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. It combines supernatural horror, suspense, and emotional drama really well. The story gives Danny a meaningful journey while building a dangerous threat around Abra. Train to Busan, 2016. Seok-woo boards a train with his young daughter to travel to Busan so she can see her mother. It should have been a simple birthday journey. But shortly after the train leaves, a terrifying outbreak begins spreading across South Korea. Suddenly, the passengers aren't trapped on an ordinary train anymore. They're trapped inside a moving train surrounded by zombies. And as the infection spreads from one carriage to another, there may be nowhere left to run. Train to Busan is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. The movie combines intense zombie action with strong survival tension and emotional moments. The train setting makes everything feel even more dangerous because the characters have very little room to escape. Assassination Nation 2018. In Salem, 4 friends are living through what seems like an ordinary life, until a hacker releases the private secrets of people throughout the town onto the internet. What follows is complete chaos. People turn against each other, the town begins falling apart, and the 4 friends suddenly find themselves fighting just to survive. But as Salem becomes more dangerous, they realize that the real threat isn't hiding somewhere outside the town. It's coming from the people around them. Assassination Nation is an okay movie and deserves a C tier. It's stylish, violent, and built around a very modern idea of what can happen when everyone's private life becomes public. It's a one-time watch for viewers who enjoy intense, chaotic thrillers. Get Out 2017. Chris agrees to spend a weekend with his girlfriend Rose and meet her parents for the first time. At first, everything seems normal. Her family is friendly, the house looks peaceful, and Chris tries to relax. But little things start to feel strange. The people around him begin acting in ways that are difficult to explain, and Chris slowly realizes that something about this family is seriously wrong. Then he discovers that this weekend isn't going to end the way he expected. And suddenly, getting out of the house becomes more important than anything else. Get Out is an excellent movie and deserves an A tier. It mixes horror, mystery, and social tension incredibly well. The movie keeps you questioning what is really happening while slowly making the situation more disturbing. The Babysitter Killer Queen 2020. 2 years after surviving a deadly satanic cult led by his babysitter B, Cole is trying to move on with his life. But just when he thinks that nightmare is finally behind him, something happens that brings his old enemies back. Cole once again finds himself surrounded by people who want to hurt him. This time though, he's not the same scared kid he was before. But when the old enemies return, Cole has to figure out who he can trust before it's too late. The Babysitter. Killer Queen is an okay movie and deserves a C tier. It's more focused on wild comedy, crazy characters, and over-the-top horror than serious scares. If you enjoyed the first movie and want something similar, it's a decent one-time watch. And that's our 20 horror movies worth watching. From creepy lodges and haunted houses to zombies, cults, invisible enemies, and terrifying family secrets, this list has something for almost every horror fan. So which movie would you recommend to another horror fan? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more movie recommendations.